Well, hi and welcome to my shop. And listen, frustrations have gotten a little high with the Spartan radio that I've been working on. So I have an antidote that I regularly take when I'm getting a little frustrated with the work I'm doing, and that is do another one. Why? I just get on to the next radio. Why not? Here it is. This one promises to be easy. Ha ha ha. So, a nice looking radio, isn't it? RCA Victor. Pretty good shape. Ooh, it's got a gigantic crack through the cabinet here. But I don't think that really matters. It feels pretty solid. A little bit of warpage in the cabinet, corners coming apart here. But appears to be in good shape otherwise. Now, there's a big sheet of asbestos down here. So I'm going to lift this radio out. I already know it's not bolted in. There are no bolts underneath it to hold it in. So literally it's held in by these. Wow, it's really held in. There we go. I'm going to take this out and be very careful about disturbing that asbestos, because if you take a look at it, and let's do that. I don't want to freak everybody out here, but let's take a closer look at the asbestos situation with this radio. Now you can see the edge of the sheet here, and you can see that it's frying, it's coming apart. So this is what we don't want to see. Now this is missing because it was so loose. I scraped it away and already vacuumed it out of here. But I'm sure when I lift this radio out, there's going to be particles stuck to the chassis and the like. Now, yes, there is no safe level for exposure to asbestos, but you know what? That's true of everything, more or less. There is no safe exposure, but everybody is exposed to a little bit of asbestos all through their lives. Probably a lot less now than, say, 40 years ago. Probably a lot less. So, not to panic about that. Oh, I can see you shaking your head already. So let's see if we can get this out of here and not make too big of a mess. So rather than drag it out, I'm going to try to lift it up. Notice I'm grabbing the transformer. Transformers are great. If they got a big transformer in a radio, it's a great thing to hang on to and lift the radio. You got most of the weight right in your hand, and these things are securely bolted to the radio. So these are great things to hang on to. So up and out it comes. There it is. Let me set it over here for now. We'll just take a closer look at that asbestos sheet. And oh my gosh, it is really in bad shape. This is not like the asbestos sheet I dealt with in another video. This one is bad news. This one's really bad news. So let's take a closer look at it. Try and decide what we're going to do about it. If anything, frankly. Put the radio on top of my mouse pad over here. That wasn't too smart of a move. Here we go. There we go. Just dolly the camera up here. So again, because you're looking at a flat image, you don't see quite what I see. In here is just a whole bunch of loose asbestos all over the place in this radio, in fact. And I wonder how the sheet is glued down there or something. Let me slide something under it a little bit. I think this radio is headed for the outdoors, to be corrected. I don't think I want to take this one on in my shop. The last one I did, the sheet was intact. This one, maybe not so much. So I'm just investigating now what the quality of the sheet is here. Oh, there's a staple right there. Probably some more here. And one back here. asbestos, probably unbalanced, saved many, many, many lives by preventing fires that would have occurred if asbestos hadn't been used for whatever its purposes were. So, looks like it's stapled down in the corners here. You can take these staples out here in my shop. I'm not too worried about that. Ooh. And guess what? It's a fairly, well, actually yesterday was a really nice day here in near Toronto. Temperature got up to, I think it's 11 or 12, but not at my house. I live right near Lake Ontario, and it'll be cold at my house for quite a while yet. There's the other staple there. So to identify the location of these staples, because they can't be seen, I just flex the sheet a little bit and look where it's not moving, and that's where the staple's holding it down. So we'll try this in the back corner. It's a real mess there. Okay, so I'm looking at where the sheet is really not moving. It's right in here. There it is. There's the staple. Get that out of there. So I think the sheet is loose now. No, I think I still got one back here. No, it's completely loose. So from here, I'm taking it outside, and we're gonna clean it out outside, not in here. So here I am outside. It's still pretty cold, you know. It's only a couple degrees above freezing, but for me, that's warm. So let's get that sheet out of there. I'm not so worried about being outside here anymore. This kind of thing, but you can just see the dust blowing around everywhere. Yikes. Blowing everywhere. You can't see it, but I'm holding my breath while I do a lot of this. Wow. A lot of dust came out of it there, too. Good news is the asbestos is almost completely gone already. Pretty good. So in the end, that wasn't quite so bad as I expected. I thought it would be stuck terribly in here. There still could be some on the chassis. We'll have to take a look at that. When I was a kid, I was going to school. For a couple of years, I was in a portable, temporary classroom while they were expanding the school I was going to. This would be grade 4 or 5. And in this portable, which apparently was used as a barracks during the Second World War, right in the center of the classroom was a wood-burning stove. And that wood-burning stove sat on top of a large sheet of asbestos. Anyway, I think that's good. That's good enough, I think. I go back in the house now where it's a little bit warmer. Yeah, just to prove to you how cold it is still. There you go. Yes, that's a pile of snow there on my deck. Okay, so I'm back in from outside. You can see I removed the asbestos, and it did remove quite well. You know, the asbestos is there to prevent fires. The fires were compounded by the fact that the early days of electricity distribution in people's homes, fusing and things like that were not done nearly as well as they are today. So to some degree, you could get a fire in something simply because the fuse didn't open. Anyway. we go. Now we still need to check the bottom of the chassis. Let me put this away. See what we got on the chassis here. Let's see. This radio can be tipped back this way. Here we go. What do we see there? Pretty good. I put the cabinet on my chair and then proceeded to try to sit on it. You see asbestos really stuck in here. That's not so good, is it? Yeah. Let's see a wire hanging here. Well, we got to get rid of this asbestos or cover it or do something with it. It's probably really stuck on there. Most of it, anyway. So that little piece is not. Yeah, it's kind of. I don't really know why the asbestos gets so tightly stuck on pieces of metal, but maybe a little bit of corrosion or something like that, and it's really getting fused into the surface of the metal. So what I'm going to do with this, because I don't want to get into a big production of removing it, I'm just going to put some tape over it. And it's not the perfect solution, but it will lock it away. Maybe when I'm all done, I can take this outside too and do a little bit of outdoor cleanup on it. Now again, really how dangerous is this? It's really hard to say. Hey, my nose is getting itchy. Now, that tape may not stick very well either. So it's, not sticking onto a very good surface here. But some of the fibers would be trapped into the tape, the stickiness of the tape, so I'll keep an eye on it. Now, while I'm doing this, I've also noticed the joint in that wire right there. So, what's going on here? Oh boy, look at these things I'm seeing in this radio already. Let's get a little more light on the subject here. My nose is quite itchy. So I'm going to go wash my hands, just in case I got asbestos on them, and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's, now that things are relatively safe and secure in terms of the asbestos, let's take a look at what's going on with this radio. And, oh man, it looks like another one where I'm going to be changing capacitors here. So let's take a closer look. This is the upper right hand corner of the radio. You can see what I'm pretty sure is the antenna coil, and lots of wires connecting right to this point right here. And you have the mystery loose wire, and another, look, there's another one, another mystery loose wire. 2 loose wires down here. Oh my gosh. Now, what else can we see? That might not be right. Let's just look over this way. Oh, I see a bunch of molded capacitors, these black ones. Paper one back there. There's a big red molded one here. Here's one here. Another molded capacitor. Oh, is that cracked right open? It's cracked. Cracked right open there. Okay, let's go a little further. Okay, more molded capacitors. This one here. This schmozzle up in here, what is going on here? Eight microfarads. So 8 microfarads. And what's this? And they're not all in parallel at all. How are they done? And they're all going to different places. So those don't look too healthy though, do they? The actual tube sockets. Wires, these wires have gone stiff as usual. Can't be moving them around. Come back this way. There's a kind of curious splice here. Oh, that's a new power cord. New power cord spliced in. Power cord's fairly flexible, so it's probably okay. There's a big ugly capacitor there. There's a high wattage resistor, and that certainly looks cooked to me. It's either been working hard and it's just changed color, or it's shot. And look, there's another molded capacitor just behind it there. It looked to me like it's cracked right along its seam. So that's what this is. This is, it changed these capacitors. And let's see. Does the tuning capacitor tune? Does it turn? Yeah, actually it turns very nicely. Speaker's in good shape. It's right out there where I can easily put my finger through it though. So I think that's what we're doing here. We're going to be doing a whole pile of capacitors on this radio before we do anything else. It's not even worth starting it up. I got to sort out these 2 wires too. I got to get a schematic, all that stuff. So I think I'll go do that. One more little thing I need to check is I don't know what the model number of this radio is. So we'll take a close look at the nameplate here. And I make that out to say Mascot as the model. The Mascot, M-A-S-C-O-T. So that's what I'll be looking for from the RCA Victor Company, Montreal.